Hello and welcome to the history of movie theaters for the Toronto area for 1920 to 1929. Grab your popcorn and dim the lights. We're heading back to the roaring 20s to witness the decade when Toronto's cinema scene truly exploded. From the birth of massive movie palaces to the revolutionary arrival of talkies, here is the high-energy history of Toronto's silver screens from 1920 to 1929. 1920. The decade kicks off with a bang. The 1920s started with a massive building boom. On January 12th, the St. Clair Theatre led the charge, followed quickly by the Parkdale Theatre on April 5th. By May 24th, the College Theatre joined the party, and on September 20th, the glamorous Lowe's Uptown opened its doors. But the real showstopper, the Pantages Theatre. It arrived on the scene as the largest theatre in the entire British Empire, boasting a jaw-dropping 3,700 seats. 1921, expansion and takeovers. The industry was heating up. Bloom and Fine was established, launching the Carlton Theatre on Parliament Street, which eventually teamed up with famous players after 1927. Outside the downtown core, the Regent Theatre in Oshawa opened on October 26th, and Uxbridge got its own Strand Theatre. Meanwhile, the Paragon in Oshawa was renamed the New Martin after being taken over by Ernie Marks. Famous Players was already making power moves, snatching up the Alhambra. 1922. Out with the old, in with the new. On February 19th, the Palace Theatre made its debut. Just a month later, on March 19th, the Bell Size opened, later joining the 20th Century chain. While the Big Nickel sadly closed its doors this year, the Standard Theatre opened late in 1922, bringing Yiddish-language films to the community. Over in Brampton, the Capitol Theatre opened, a spot that would later be known as the Odeon. 1923 to 1924. A changing guard. On November 2nd, 1923, the Regent Theatre opened, followed just one day later on November 3rd by a major rebranding. The Allen Theatre was taken over by Famous Players and renamed the Tivoli. Over in Newmarket, it was a one-in, one-out situation, as the Palace opened while the Strand closed. By May 5th, 1924, the Prince of Wales Theatre officially joined the Toronto ranks. 1925 to 1926, the Golden Era continued. On September 16, 1925, the Weston Theatre opened. This year also marked the end of an era, as the Grand Opera House closed its doors for good. In 1926, the Kentwood Theatre made its first appearance in the Toronto Star on February 20th. Later that summer, on August 28th, Shays Theatre was transformed into the Victoria Theatre, and the Lyndhurst Theatre opened to the public. 1927, the busy year. Famous Players and 20th Century were everywhere in 27. April 11th, the Eastwood opens. May 27th, the Kingwood is first mentioned. June 2nd, Famous Players opens the Runnymede. July 25th, the major Rogers Road Theatre opens in Weston. Also opening, the Bedford, Gerrard, Grover, and Major St. Clair. The Review, taken over by 20th Century Theatres. 1928, the year everything changed. The biggest moment in cinema history happened on October 25th, 1928. The Tivoli screened Street Angel, the very first talking movie in the city. While the Regent closed its doors this year, 3 new players entered the game: the Hudson, the Parliament, and the Royce. 1929, closing out the decade. As the 20s came to a close, the Mount Dennis Theatre opened its doors. Finally, on October 14th, Premiere opened the Capitol Theatre at Lakeshore and 4th, ensuring the decade ending on a high note for movie lovers. Thanks for watching. If you love local history, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more.